Hello everybody. We have a game with the white pieces against Daniel Rahimkulov, rated 901. And he needs to play e5. Sometime today would be optimal. Okay, this guy's aborting. Oh, this son of a gun. Oh man. He did that on purpose. So now we have to crush him. Maybe we control him before we checkmate him. He defends his pawn. So no reason to give him the bishop. Let's castle. He breaks the pin. And we could go c3 in Spanish style, setting up d4. He attacks our pawn. We'll simply move our rook, develop it, defend the pawn. He goes bishop e7, preparing short castle. And we're ready to break in the center. And now we have the pawn duo. A knight here. He castles, so now we can put our other knight on its best square. And our position looks as good as what they teach you, right? He hits our bishop. You can do a number of things. I'm going to keep it. Let's retreat it. He attacks us. Now we retreat it and stare at the king. He attacks our knight, but the central pawn's defended. So this doesn't hurt us at all, it just extends his pawns into our territory. I want to jump it in. Consequences, takes. That his knight has to go to an awkward square, and our rook has an open file. You don't have to do that, but let's just go for it. It opens up our bishop to his king, our rook, right? And it's with tempo. He can't jump in the center. So let's do it. He no longer has a king knight, which is a very good defensive piece. So when we develop our queen and threaten checkmate, there's no knight there. He might feel obliged to go here. My opponent proposes a take back after blundering his piece. His knight's hanging, so he should probably move the knight. And he writes in chat F, capital F for fail, because that is a fail in many different ways. So he moves the knight, trying to reroute it, but it does take time. This allows me to there's no sacks that work, so let's just develop for free. And he totally ignores what we're doing. We're obviously doing something. And he improves his bishop but loses the game. So that's the real capital F right there. We're just going to new opponent in this and run it back against Sandruber, rated 1000. But now we have a Sicilian, so write in the comments what. Well, it doesn't even make sense because there's so many types of Sicilians, but do you try to go for Smith more? Do you try to go for Grand Prix setups? You know, what do you like to try to do against Sicilians anyway? So he's preparing for d5. And I'm just going to bring out two knights. He goes a6, so we can't put a piece there. And also queenside expansion. So this guy's, doing some good stuff. I'm going to match his pawn move and raise him from a6 to a4, stopping his expansion. He now makes another pawn move. This is a lot of pawn moves. Because it's a lot of pawn moves, I'm going to break in the center, open up both my bishops. He can take, and we can take, but he does not take, he defends. This weakens the light squares, but gives his bishop a home. However, by not taking, we have the option of pushing past. So we're going to do that, making his bishop not as good. He also can't develop his knight. So he ignores the pawn and continues developing. But this seems like it has a fault of its own in that this knight too can be kicked. And upon taking, taking, he loses a pawn. So he loses a pawn. So let's kick a knight, because when you can, you should consider it. In this case, it works. So he takes a pawn, we take a piece. So he's going to take a piece, we're going to take a pawn, and we don't win anything. Okay, now we win stuff because he didn't take the piece back, right? He got a pawn, I got a knight, and then he had fianchettos. So that doesn't make any sense. Now I could just move my knight and I'm up a piece. His bishop's nice, but he just sacked a piece for that, so that doesn't make sense. He now tries to break down our center. Maybe take the knight and take the pawn. I'm up a piece and I would gladly accept that trade. Also, the queen would hit the rook, so no time to take the pawn maybe. In any case, we want to develop, so let's put a piece here and defend the center. There's various improving moves you can make as white. Bishop e2, h4. So he pushes past, but that leaves a wedge pawn in his position, which means it'll be easier to attack his king for sure. It also blocks his own bishop unless he intends on pushing further. So I'm happy to see this. I'm going to make this move queen e2. It may look weird because it blocks the bishop, but it gets out of the d file, so I can put a rook there. It also supports the e file, so when he kicks me, which should be his idea, I get to hop in the center and it's supported. And by protecting the knight, it allows me to fianchetto, so I'm not actually blocking my bishop because I intend on putting it somewhere else. So I knew he would kick me, which allows me, I set this up ahead of time because it's a nice construction. Look at these pieces. And then I'm able to play g3 and fianchetto, but before that I have to play h4 to stop him from kicking my pieces around, and then g3 and then fianchetto, and that was my setup, and it looks really compact and strong on the king side. So he develops a bishop, but I need to play h4, just controlling the square. He develops a knight, which doesn't threaten anything, so I wonder if you can even go g4 and g5 at some point. But you know what, let's go g4 just to leave our bishop with an extra option. I'm not worried about our king. So he puts his queen here, and now it's x-rayed. So check, takes, queen goes somewhere. Maybe that's a little early, let's keep developing. Now we fianchetto, our knight's supported. We also have control over the diagonal like his bishop. We're just up a piece. He long castles. Most interesting. So now this knight, I want to reroute it here. So, but it's currently defending stuff. Maybe I could just put this guy here and then this guy here. But you know what? Let me long castle too. See what he does. I finished my development. I'm up a piece. I don't need to plan. I just need to trade. But I'm still looking for plans nonetheless. He goes f6. Trades are good for me, so it doesn't really matter if I take, if I don't take. I am going to move this knight though. To open up another defender. Also, maybe I could put it here. So he takes, but now I get to unleash my pieces. First the knight, which unlocks the bishop. So that's good for me. I mean, if he trades, I also get my bishop here with more trades coming. More trades, everything gets traded. So he attacks my bishop, and now I'm glad. Well, I suppose if the pawn was here, it would be defended then. So, in any case, this is an X-ray. If we go here, we're hitting the queen and the rook. But he could take two pieces. If we take the knight, his queen's hit. So he has to take the bishop with something. But then we get the dark square bishop and the light square bishop. Let's do that. That's mass trades up a piece. There's also this weird intermezzo check for good measure. Just to really turn the screws. So there's this, there's this, there's this, there's this. Lots of moves depending on what black does. But these are the candidates. Yeah, and black is toast. Okay, so he gets rid of this candidate move. But let's throw in a check. He can't move the king, so this does not mess up our other checks. Because we want those checks so we can force trades. So now we get to pick up this bishop for free because he pinned the knight, the rook. Check. So that's a free piece. And wherever he goes, we can then take the bishop, forcing the trades. He goes that way. Let's just take a piece. Wait, what? We took a bishop. He took a knight. We can just give him checks. Let's just give this check, because if he goes here, he then can't block with any rook that is defended. So now if I go here, he has to go here, and that can't be good for him. Not only can we take a pawn with check, but we can include a rook with check. So this is the plan. Let's just bring a rook in the game. We can always retreat our bishop when we feel like it. And where does this king go? Here? It's mate in one. Thanks to our pawn advances. And so even though he castled queenside, his king ended up on the king side, f6, getting mated. So went for a little stroll, a little walk. A nice Sicilian game. We don't get lots of Sicilians, so it's interesting. guess we won't play another one because it's decently long game. It was more or less development and then prophylaxis against his idea of expanding. I mean, okay, I'll squeeze one in. Hopefully it goes a little bit faster. We're rated exactly the same, 1007 against Jovan Rapinoe. So we develop the knight and we get ready to fiend kettle. He develops his bishop, so we're already planning the center fork trick after castling. We're ready. And there it is. We take the pawn, he takes the knight. We push d5, forking. He should retreat, but they generally take. Let's see what Jovan comes up with. If they've never seen it before, they likely take with the bishop. He retreats the bishop, lets me take the knight, but doesn't even get back the pawn. So that makes way less sense than moving your bishop here. Now he tries to recapture this way, but maybe I can keep it. Also, this is hanging, so not sure about this. I might want to just keep it though. Although, I guess I'll just take his central pawn. I'd rather do that than keep that. I'll just take with the queen. He can hit it and stuff, and I'll move it. That's fine. I just want to take his central pawn. I'll trade it for this doubled, overextended central pawn. Yeah, he hits the queen, which I figured. But I can kind of just stick it maybe on this diagonal. Nice active move. He can't move the f-pawn. He can't block me with a central pawn. So it'll be active for a while till he puts a bishop here. He takes the pawn. Now I'm just up a pawn. Let's develop our knight, which supports a rook to d8. We can, I was going to say harass the bishop, but he voluntarily moves it again for no reason. And we can pin it. Bishop sacks don't work because the rook is defended. If he takes the knight, I can take the queen. So he defends, but I can attack it with a pawn. And he just weakened the diagonal as well. He does have this counter blow, but after I move my queen, that's that. So let's counter the bishop. And now he loses. So in 13 moves, he does find the counter blow, which is a good find for him. We don't even have to necessarily move the queen, but maybe we do. Because you get a bishop, he gets a queen. You get a queen, he gets a rook. You get a pawn. Yeah, you probably don't want that. So here. Here. I feel like here he can't harass it again. So let's go here. Because if you go up, he can keep hitting it with stuff. And right now we don't want to mess up our tactic. So let's just keep the queen out of the way and get our material and go home. This is beaming. This is beaming. And this is beaming. So he's caught in the crossfire. And now we can take a piece with tempo. He moves the queen, but this offers a queen trade, and he can only recapture this way. This vacates the back rank and allows us to deliver a puzzle rush, one of the first 3 to 5 puzzles. Back rank mate, where they have to move their rook, and voila, like magic. I told you it was going to be a short game. There you go. Kept my word. Good luck in your chess. See you in the next video.